I've noticed when people monologue in vlogs or in a sermon or in a speech presentation, they might say statements or opinions and they'll feel the need to explain those statements, explain why they feel that way, elaborate on it, even if it's obvious. So, for example, recently I've been reading The Game by Neil Strauss. Really interesting book. I could leave it at that. I could just say, really interesting book, done. But I will feel the need to explain why it's an interesting book. Now, that might not be a great example because you have no idea what the book is about. The book is about a pickup artist, the best pickup artist in the world, and how he got his game, his whole story basically, the story of others around him, his friends, how it changed him, transformed him. I haven't finished the book. I'm halfway through. I started it 2 days ago, and I'm halfway through. Nearly 500 pages, and I'm halfway through. It's it's an incredible book. That's how good of a book it is. And I usually only just read at night, but this book I've been reading for hours for the past 2 days. Really good book. Okay, so they'll feel the need to elaborate on even obvious statements or opinions when you really just don't need to. You can just say the statement and you're good. Now, I also, so recently I've been kind of procrastinating just surfing YouTube instead of doing my homework, but I have done quite a bit of homework. I have been productive, just I have too much to do, so it doesn't really account for my procrastination. I need to be a machine, but I just can't. And that's all right. My grades will suffer, but I don't see how else I do it. I can't just lock myself in a room. I mean, today I kind of locked myself in a room, but lock myself in a room and just fully work on something. And that's all I do that day. That's absurd, especially studying. I don't want to study. I'd be down. I would be okay with doing that for reading or something that I'm hyper fixated on at a time. For example, I have my hobbies. I have these sprouts of enjoyments of hobbies that I get. For example, I had bally song flipping a while ago, probably a little more than 6 months ago, 8 months ago, and I could do bally song flipping for 2 hours at a time, really, or maybe even no. I think the longest sessions I would do it all day basically, but I'd do it 2 hours and then I'd take a break, eat or something, and then continue going. Other things too, like building my portfolio website, photography, working out. I have these bouts, not sprouts, these bouts where I just fully focus on something and that's what I want to do all the time. And then it fades and then I find something else. And right now, that bout, that hobby bout is the game. Getting better at picking up girls. But really, it's actually about developing relationships. So, not just developing attraction, getting better at attraction. So, not just with girls, with guys as well. The same principles you apply for picking up girls, you can apply for guys and creating long lasting, or at least really quick friendships or just intimate relationships, but really quickly. It's hard to describe. Just become a magnetic. It teaches you how to be magnetic, basically. And it's a little different from the regular pickup artist ideology where you have to manipulate people. That's not what this is about. It's more about transforming yourself so that you can be a pleasant human being and you can genuinely have emotional connections and just connections with people. It doesn't say to change fundamentally who you are. It says to change your confident, to be more confident, to display these more masculine traits, but not necessarily, yeah, not even masculine traits the way that I see it. It's just be a fun guy, be an interesting guy. That's all it's teaching you to do, or at least emulate it. Not necessarily be an interesting guy, but make people think that you're an interesting guy. And that's how it could be seen as manipulative. But if you stick, I don't intend to follow all the rules that he lays out here. But if you stay true to yourself, but also keep in mind this is what attracts females or just people in general, then you can mold yourself to be the best version that you can be. Cool book. I like it. Maybe I live vicariously through it too. I like it anyways. It's good. And it'd be fun. Now, he acknowledges in the book that it gets to a point where he basically becomes addicted and it becomes a problem where he's going out to clubs. He has to go out to clubs to get female validation. But or he has to approach girls everywhere he sees. And if he doesn't approach a girl, he said this in the book, if he doesn't approach a girl 3 tables over in some random diner, he's a failure. If he doesn't get her number. So not only do you have to go completely out of your way randomly to some girl who's sitting over there, but you also have to get her number. So incredible feat. But the stories that he outlines in that book, it's not past him. He could do those things. In fact, he could do more challenging things. Man, there's so many stories. It's a good book. I recommend it. Even if you're a girl too, you can read it and you can kind of understand how guys operate. I mean, if a guy read that book, you'd understand, you'd know immediately if a guy read that book and he started using it on you. You know what he's doing, but you could also see it in your friends, for example, if all the strategies that's laid out, it's basically like a cheat sheet. I mean, a secret guide for guys. And even as a girl, if you read that, you would understand how guys should operate and why that would influence your attraction towards them. I'm not fully done it. I was planning on reading the sequel to it. So there was one that outlined, this is more of just storytelling. It does mention tidbits of information such as how he actually goes about it and his specific methods, his specific techniques. But there's the next book that he wrote that's called The Art of the Game. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's very detailed in how you would approach, and it offers the techniques in more detail rather than storytelling the way he does it here, because he does omit specific details. He'll say, I use this technique, but he doesn't explain what the technique is sometimes, or later in the book he'll explain it, but you don't immediately know, and you don't know all these caveats and when not to use it. It's just really interesting stuff. Just psychology in general, seeing how people behaviors, seeing how people just being really charismatic. I've always wanted to be that. Everyone wants to be that. Everyone wants to be that charismatic person that everyone wants to hang around, that everyone wants to be with, hang out with. The cool guy or the pretty, not even pretty girl, the pretty girl. The girl that everyone wants to be with, the guy that everyone wants to be around. There's a lot of thought that goes behind it. I mean, he mentions that some are just naturals, but then he got to a point where even he could outperform the naturals just because he knew it down to a science. He had things in, ingrained in his mind just by having approached so many women and knowing all of the responses, all of the replies he needed to say, all of the contingencies, planning for everything. And these are the type of people that think like me, where we have to plan for everything. I mean, computer programmers, you have to plan for everything. If this happens, what do I do? Prepare for every contingency, prepare for every scenario, recognize the patterns and apply it. And that's how these guys think, the unnaturals. That's how they think. They don't know what to do in a certain situation. They'll study it. It'll happen to them in real life. Then they'll go back, they'll study it, and then they'll go back out, and now they'll actually know what to do. And they'll run into another one. It's troubleshooting. It's debugging. It's the computer programmer's dream. So I did omit, though. I didn't fully explain. He runs into issues where, and his mentor runs into issues where it's like, what's even the point anymore? Why would I want to be with a girl if they're all the same? I could get any girl I want, but now what? What do I do now? Like, there's nothing left for me to do. I know I can get any girl, and now what's the worth of my life? So his mentor, Mystery, runs into some depressive issues. As I said, halfway through the book, so can't fully explain everything. Yeah, it's a fascinating book, though. I wanted to talk about way more, as usual, but I've already reached 12 minutes, and I want to sleep early, or earlier. I want to sleep earlier. Oh man, okay, no, there was something really quick that I wanted to mention, actually. Okay, no, there were two things. So, he also mentions Neil Strauss in some random YouTube video. He mentioned that if you're writing a book, people assume that people are not going to be interested in what you have to say, what you have writing, what you have to tell. And I was thinking about that in application to my vlogs. Okay, I just thought of something else. Maybe I should speak if I'm looking to approach girls, or just in general, if I'm looking to be that guy who's charismatic. Just be the best man that I can be. Should I be speaking as fast as possible? Because, well, should I slow down my speech, be much more deliberate, and seem as an authority? Deliberately choose my words, take my pace, take my time, and seem more confident in the way I speak just by slowing down my words. Now, the downside is I waste everyone's time by slowing down my words, but I seem more powerful, I seem more authoritative, I seem more calm, I seem more relaxed. All of these traits. I like to be fast, I like to be efficient. So naturally, I would want to speak as quick as possible. I want to get as much ideas, as much information as I can out. But often that might result in me misspeaking, stuttering, saying filler words. I haven't fully decided. My goal was to be completely deliberate and intentional in every way I speak, and then constantly upgrade the speed, constantly increase the speed to a point that is most efficient. Well, ideally, you'd speak as fast as possible while people can still understand what you're saying. Right. That was a sidetrack, though. He also says, Neil Strauss, the pickup artist guy, expert, the world class, top tier, number one expert. He was saying in some random video that you should, nobody's going to be interested in what you say, so assume they won't. Assume they won't be interested in what you say. So now you have to prove something to them. You have to find a way to get them interested in what you have to say. And I was thinking about how to apply that. I was thinking this is really applicable to my vlogs. This is just my life that I'm talking about, my experiences. Why would anybody be interested in this? Now, on one end, I'm posting this for myself. It shouldn't technically make a difference whether I post this publicly or privately. I've had this issue. This has come up so many times. But deep down, I do want to post this publicly because I want to help. I want to be, I probably want to be famous. That might be why. But I want to foster a community. I want people to learn from me. I want to actually provide value to people. Yeah, I think deep down that's the true reason. I want to provide value to people. And if I'm just speaking about my experiences without actually helping anyone, what's the point? Why would I do that? So maybe there is some balancing that I have to do. I have to acknowledge that I should cater to my audience. I'll think about it more. Last thing he mentioned in some random YouTube video. Open loops, right. Open loops where, which is what I unintentionally do by sidetracking myself. It's the idea that you present information and you don't completely close it off, and then you go on to another topic and you continue, and you haven't fully closed that loop yet that you originally mentioned. You continue on with your speech and everything, and then at the very end, you close the loop. That way people are always engaged. You see this in movies where they start at the very bottom. They start at the very end of the movie. I mean, this is what he did in the book. He started near the middle of the book, a little past the middle of the book, because I haven't gotten to the start of the book. They always do that. They start the movie, and then it stops, and then it fades to black, and it says 3 months previous. And then you see all the past, and then you finally get to the third month. Then you see the current, what's actually happening, and then you continue on with seeing the rest of the movie. That's basically what happened in the book. And that's an open loop. I don't see how I apply that. I mean, I unintentionally apply it by sidetracking myself, but I don't think it's a good practice. I think it's just annoying. I think. Damn it. How many times have I said I think? I might have to rewatch this just to see. Wow. To be more critical of myself. Like I have time to rewatch it. Oh, damn. 19-minute video. All right.